Hello and welcome to the Cabinboyknits Woolcast, coming to you deep from the Canadian forest.
This is Christopher.
And this is the other guy,
Jamie.
We have a lot packed into this episode and I can't wait to share it with you. We are going to be talking about designs that were inspired by toys.
Toys.
One from Tanis Gray and the other one from J.W. Anderson.
And we're going to talk about You Got Mail, and it came from like a long ways away.
Yeah, one package came from Eastern Canada and the other one came from West Canada.
So that's like the Atlantic to the Pacific.
And the one on the West Coast contained CVM in it.
Ooh, CVM. I don't even know. I don't even know what that is, but we'll find out.
We're also going to make a trip into your kitchen and check out what you've been cooking.
Okay, just so you know, there's a surprise because it wasn't in my kitchen at
Oh.
all. You'll see.
But you're baking something, I can smell it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's going to be interesting to find out where that is. We also have the launch of our website, which we've been talking about for so long. February 5th is going to be the launch of our website.
And that's going to coincide with?
Knit City Virtual. And we are going to be live on Knit City Virtual at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I can't wait to share that with you. So sit back, grab your favorite drink, and we'll tell you our stories.
And before we tell you our stories, there's going to be a giveaway, and it's very special.
That's right. 3 giveaways from Compliments of Tanis Gray. So I will rewind that, and now go ahead, grab your favorite drink, sit back, and we'll tell you our stories.
Okay, so what are we starting with? We're going to start with mail. You got mail. Wait a minute. Did I even get mail? I didn't get it.
I don't think so. So we've got 2 packages, one from the East Coast, one from the West Coast. Let's go with the East Coast first.
Where's that? Pacific.
That is...
No, the Atlantic.
on the Atlantic side.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
all the way over to Cape Breton.
Cape Breton, that's on the East Coast, as far east towards the Atlantic Canada.
And this is from Mamie's Schoolhouse. And
Okay.
one of the viewers reached out and said to me, do you know about Mamie's Schoolhouse? And so I checked it out. And I ordered a calendar on there. So,
Okay.
So this is... So
Wow.
Mamie's Schoolhouse sent me a calendar.
Very good.
And some printed paper. It's beautiful. It's really nice.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Look at that. That's a notebook.
Hand dyed.
Hand dyed.
That's like a work of art.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
So it's
Really
a little
nice.
notepad. That's very
Yep, and there's a little
nice.
notepad inside.
And even the bow is like hand dyed fiber.
That's really nice.
I love that rusticness about it.
And that's
Very
the
nice.
card.
Very nice.
And here's the calendar. So the calendar is a little different. And I mean that in the best way. There are no numbers in it. It's months. It goes month by month by month.
Okay.
And it covers off how to dye yarn. And then it even has some recipes in how to dye as well.
So it's informative. You learn something.
Yes.
But how do you know what day of the week it is? Because I'm like, I don't get it.
Okay, so the good news is that you can sell this any year. And it'll be... Because then you don't have to worry about the dates being off. However, what I'm going to use it for is I'm going to be writing down what I'm dyeing that month. Okay. So, for example, January. In January, I've been dyeing with white spruce and indigo and oak. Okay. So all those things are going to be written down here, and then I can look at them.
So you can put your own dates in, and then it's...
You can.
So it's you're drawn straight to the box or the day that you have marked off. So actually, you could probably stands out that much more.
Yeah.
That special date.
Yeah.
But how come you didn't order 2 calendars? Because my dates, you know, I have my own dates that
you have so many dates going on.
Very important dates I have to put down on there too.
Well, I think you'd be even more confused if I ordered this calendar because there's no numbers on it.
I wouldn't know
so
what
you
day
would be
of the week
missing
it
all
was.
your important dates.
You're probably right. But this is going to work very well for you.
It will, and I love it. So I will put a link to Mamie's Schoolhouse, and you can check out our website.
Okay.
Are we over to me?
Yes. Don't
Okay.
you have something else, don't you?
I have something else from British Columbia. Tap in British Columbia.
Where?
Tappan, British Columbia.
Tappan?
Yeah.
How come I've never heard of Tappan?
It is.
I know where BC is. That's on the west coast, the Pacific side.
The west coast
of
would be
Canada.
that way.
I don't know. It's that way.
And it's close to Kamloops, I believe. And I think it's east of Kamloops.
Oh.
And it's.
okay.
Have you heard of Shuswap Lake?
Yes, and I've heard of Kamloops.
Yeah, I actually played a hockey tournament in Kamloops when I was 15. Our hockey team was representing the province of Ontario.
Wow.
And we played in a tournament there. And so in Kamloops.
I've driven through Kamloops because years ago I did a cross Canada drive all the way to the west coast, and you zigzag up and down through the mountains, and that's when I would have been possibly through Kamloops.
Yeah. And it's nice. Kamloops is quite nice.
Beautiful.
And so back to the hockey tournament.
You played hockey.
I have to share this story because so our team went in and we made it to the finals.
Oh wow!
And
That's
we lost
pretty
to Detroit. So it was a great tournament. I did not make it. I did not make it to the finals. I think it was the second game in or the third game in. I was going into the corner, chasing the puck, and at 15, I was probably around 130 pounds.
Wow, okay.
And I was just getting into running in a big way. So I was not built like a typical hockey player. And this huge defenseman from Quebec came in.
From Quebec.
And you could see it coming. And so, I had to go into the corner, and the guy just plastered me all over the boards. And so they couldn't even get my jersey off of me. They had to cut it off of me because I couldn't move my arm. So, so my arm ended up in a sling.
Is that still? You still have a problem with that shoulder to this day?
Oh, I never thought about that, but yes, I do.
Of course.
Yeah. So.
Is it the same side?
I can't remember.
We have one bad shoulder. It's got to be.
I know, but it's my right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. So, but I've injured that twice in hockey, that side.
Oh gosh.
Anyway. So I did not make it to the finals, but I had to be a spectator for the last few games.
And you know, as they say, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game.
Well, I got plastered on the board. So it's
And I played hockey once, literally once. I joined a team.
Field hockey?
What?
Field hockey?
No, ice hockey.
Okay.
And it was because my sister's boyfriend at the time, many years ago, again, I was maybe 12. And because I was in grade school. And her boyfriend at the time was a hockey coach, so he had me join his team. Mm-hmm. So, I gathered up some equipment and got there, and I had to go up and over the mountain at night and walk this trail. And
how old were you?
I was young. I was 12. So it's very short. It's a very, very short distance. That arena was just up and over the hill. But I made it on the ice once, and I recognized a few people, a few of the boys from my grade school, and there were a couple of not so nice boys, and all I remember is I was getting a lot of body checks, injuries. I was like, I am done. I played once, and I never went back. That was the beginning and end of my hockey career.
Okay, let's get back to Tappan, BC. So I received an email from Lynn, who is, Lynn and Chris own West Coast Colors, and they have a farm in Tappan, BC, and they have 50 CVM sheep and Shropshire sheep.
CVM.
Yeah. CVM is California Variegated Mutant. And so,
alien fiber, don't you know?
And so...
Sorry, what is it exactly, Christopher?
So, you cannot talk about CVM without talking about Romeldale.
Romeldale.
Yes.
Sounds Romney-ish.
And both are made in America.
Okay.
So if we go back to the 1900s, the early 1900s, in 1915, a guy named Spencer showed up in San Francisco, and he bought all of the New Zealand Romney rams.
Okay.
He took them back to his farm and introduced them to the Romeldale ewes.
Aha, Romeldale, we've talked about them many times.
Yes.
So there's a softness there, there's a merino in that. And
Yeah.
So that combined with the Romney
Yeah.
makes up part of what you're talking about.
So yeah, so what he did was he introduced the two, they had a party, they had offspring, and so he was selective breeding at that point, and he was looking at how do I improve the wool and how do I improve the meat quality.
Oh.
And so
Okay.
over a couple of generations, sheep generations, he finally got to a point where there was a distinct breed, and it was called Romeldale.
Okay.
So are you with me so far?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so now that's the Romeldale. Now
Yeah.
there's the other
Yeah.
part of the, what is it, CVM?
Yes, so we're going to get to that. So now we're in the 1940s, 1950s, and a guy named Sexton moves in, and he's really pushing the breed and helping develop the breed
Okay.
of Romeldales. And then in 1960, color starts to pop up in some of the sheep.
Oh, I see. Yes, yes.
And so, and that was unusual because we're looking at a white sheep, and then all of a sudden some patches start to show up.
Okay.
And so there's a guy named Edmund who was the partner, one of the partners of Sexton. He said, "Don't worry about that. Give them to me, and I will work with these sheep." And so he started breeding the sheep that had marks on them,
Okay.
and so distinct marks.
And if you think about reasons for breeding, I mean, they want a purification of the wool. They want a complete one solid color, a nice white or whether it be brown. And we talked about this with our dog, Zan.
Yes.
Because he's called a party poodle. That's the breed. And it's one of the, it is an original breed. But what they've done, because he's spotted, is they always try to, breed out the spots. Because, people, they think that, a purebred should be all white, all rust, all black.
Yeah.
But they are the natural, and some people love them, like we do. So,
Yep,
so
absolutely.
I could see how that translates into the breeding process with the sheep, to have this
Yep.
purification of the color, to have a pure, one solid color for fleece.
Yep.
Meat doesn't matter.
And so that's why when you're talking about Romeldale, you have to talk about, when you're talking about CVM, you have to talk about Romeldale as well. Because it's really a derivative or a variant of that.
Yeah, so these genes were in there, so they just cropped up.
Yeah.
As they do. Maybe a few generations later, they just pop into the gene pool and they're there.
Yeah, and I will say that both are on the threatened list.
Oh.
And so I think it's fantastic. Farms like West Coast Colour, who are breeding these sheep. I think it's fantastic. I'll also mention that Lynn and Chris, who run West Coast Colour, they are vegetarians. So their sheep are used purely for fiber.
Okay. So, do we get to the part where the Romney, what is it called? Romney what? Romna
Romeldale.
Yes.
Romeldale.
So
yes.
they were bred with?
They weren't bred. No. So we had the Romney sheep.
Yes.
The rams from New Zealand, and then we had the Romeldale sheep.
Yes.
That were
so
resident, and then they put the two together.
Okay.
And we've got Romeldale now. And then Romeldale, after a number of years, started showing some spots on it, and so that was developed into CVM.
Okay, but then is there not another breed introduced?
No, it's just a color. It's just that's what it is.
Is this the natural color?
Of
I don't know of what you're talking about.
So
CVM.
I'm assuming that this is there's CVM in this coming from their farm, and so this feels so wonderful. It's nice and squishy, and it's beautiful, and you can put it against your skin.
Okay.
Well, I should put it against my beard, but against my skin, feel that.
I love it. It's so soft.
It's really nice, and it came at the perfect time because I was knitting my sweater.
Yes.
And then I was unknitting my sweater.
Yeah, because you didn't like the way.
I didn't like the way it felt.
You didn't like the stitches and.
Yeah.
The color and you love the color. There was just the pattern. You were.
Well,
I don't know.
Okay, here's the tea on this one. I ran out of the color that I was using as the main color. So I thought, what am I going to do? And then I thought, you suggested, why don't you take, which is an excellent suggestion, why don't you take a completely different color and do the ribbing on it, all of the ribbing. And so I tried that, and it just did not look great on this sweater because it pulled the sweater in at the bottom. I didn't like it, and I knew I wouldn't wear it. So I thought, you know what?
I loved it.
So what I would
wear it.
What? You didn't tell me that at the time.
Yeah, you did.
Did you? Oh, I chose not to listen. So anyway, it was an opportunity for me to take it out. So it was a large swatch, basically, because I finished the
and as we know, and I don't do swatches. Remember that whole conversation we had? So it's like he's pulling that apart, and I mean that's hours and hours of work. I mean your sweater was like this, and I'm just like no.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. It's
I'm not doing things twice.
And so anyway, but it gave me an opportunity to change my needles, and I went up a size in needle, and that's perfect now. I really like the way that this is coming together.
Yeah, and this added subtle color is just contrasts perfectly with this. That's beautiful. I love it.
Yes,
I love it even more.
That's where I was going with the story, and so thank you. Basically this arrived at the perfect time for me to add into this sweater. So thank you so much for that, and it's really nice. I will put a link to their farm as well.
And this is available to them. This will.
I'm not sure. You have to go on their website and find out. Yeah, but they've got something fantastic. They've got Targhee, they've got Finn, they've got all kinds of.
So it's not just that cheap.
Of fiber available on their website.
Fantastic.
So West Coast Color will be opening up their doors or their farm to people once they finish renovations and once COVID-19 is over.
And we've talked about making a trip to the West Coast. Now that takes about like 3 days drive. Like if you drive pretty much almost straight through, but you have to spend at least 2 nights getting there. But we did talk about doing that, so we need to sort of it's pretty much on the way. You're going through the mountains, through the Rocky Mountains. You're going to go past Kamloops. Yeah. So we need to do a pit stop.
Yeah, yeah. And just think of all the people we can visit. We can visit the grocery girls, stop by, do a wave as we drive by, and cozy up knits. And there's all kinds of great yarn shops as well.
Places to stop along the way. Absolutely. It would be amazing, and it will be.
I'm looking forward to that trip. Okay. Yep.
So now what are we talking about?
We are going to talk about my knitting itch. My knitting itch.
Your knitting itch.
Yeah. Do you know what that is?
I have no idea. I haven't heard that one yet.
So
is that code for something?
Well, it's basically something that I've been thinking about over and over and over again, and determining whether or not I'm going to knit it. And so
I think you just created a new category, to go with the FO and the, what's the other one? W?
A whip.
Oh, whip.
Yeah.
W-I, whip.
Yeah, whip and FO.
I can't spell whip. Okay.
So
and now it's an itch.
It's my knitting itch. And so I keep thinking about this and going back, and I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to knit it or not. And so I'll see how long the itch goes before. So do you want to know what it is?
You know the way an itch works, it just never goes away.
It never goes away. And so this is the J.W. Anderson design.
Okay.
Which is called, I had to write it down because I always forget this. It's the Colour Block Patchwork Cardigan.
Oh, the famous cardigan.
Yeah,
but I know that it's colorful.
It's colorful.
I can see it on Harry Styles.
Yeah,
Am I correct?
Yeah, most people refer to it as the Harry Styles cardigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so do I need to tell you a little bit about Harry Styles? Because I know nobody knows who he is. And so I should go ahead and just tell you a little bit of something about Harry Styles.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, let's start with the name suits him, Styles, and I'll tell you why at the end of the story. So which brings us to his styles, and he's known to have a very flamboyant style, let's say, and this is where the cardigan comes in. And one last thing, he did date Taylor Swift, and he's worth about 63 million pounds these days. And going back, all started with One Direction, like let's say, I want it that way, tell me why.
That's not One Direction.
That's not?
No.
ABC. talk about 1, 2, 3. Da, da, da,
I think you're stuck in a time warp. But I'm glad you mentioned the Jacksons.
Okay. Round, round, get around, I get around. Everybody's going surfing, surfing USA.
Yeah, I think you need to recharge your batteries or something. You're stuck in a time warp.
I'm digging up good vibrations. Am I close? Am I close?
You're getting further away, I think.
I don't know a Harry Styles song, and I don't know a One Direction song. But what we do know is there's a cardigan to talk about.
And for Harry Styles, I normally think of him from Styles' perspective because I'm not familiar with his music catalog. So, unlike you, obviously, you're well versed in
the things we learn.
The things we learn. But one of the things that you said a word which I found interesting. You said flamboyant because yes. I think a lot of what he wears I would say is androgynous. But you're right when we talk about this sweater or this cardigan or this jumper. It is the color palette is something I am not interested in at all.
Okay.
At all. And the way it is constructed, I find fascinating, and I also find it kind of it's something that I would never put together. So basically, J.W. Anderson, the designers there, took the patches and they knit all the patches together to construct the sweater.
Okay.
There's an online video, and I'll put a link to that as well, and it shows you exactly how to construct the sweater.
Is it kind of like the sweater of many colors, like the coat of many colors?
Well, it's not only that; it has different patterns within the sweater as well.
Okay.
As well, there's a jacquard section. Like there's all kinds of different mixes and matches, but also, it's something that I'm not usually attracted to. But what attracts me to it is all of the interest around it, and also Harry's wearing this sweater, and then when you go online to see who's knitting and constructing the sweaters,
right,
it's primarily women or girls.
Okay.
His followers.
Well, the thing about him, he's very, yes, you mentioned androgynous. Flamboyant is just, somebody coined that. He likes to be avant-garde and fashion forward, and it's not about the color pink because he's been known to wear pink suits and that sort of thing. And in his words, he's just being who he is. He just likes it because it's cool. If he thinks it's cool, he'll wear it. And that's what he thinks about the sweater. If it's cool and he likes it, he wears it.
Yep. And so this took me down a rabbit hole. And so I kept thinking about why do I keep thinking about this sweater, and because the colors aren't the colors that I like, but I'm really attracted to the way that it's been constructed, and so the rabbit hole is basically looking at on TikTok and Instagram on what people are doing around this sweater, and so what were you going to say?
Well, I'm just going to interrupt just for 1 second. I know I've been known to do that, and I've been I should not interrupt you mid sentence like that, but you mentioned the rabbit hole, and I just have to say, we had to trap a rabbit this morning. He made his home under our veranda. We talked about the animals that come around, but he's been living under our veranda for a while, and we had to move him locales. And so I did catch him, catch and release, and I brought him out a little further into the woods so that, he's not, because little dog likes to hunt sometimes. So got the little rabbit away. So it's just funny you should mention rabbit hole because the rabbit is now in a new area and he'll be safe and sound living in the woods.
Yeah, and I think we helped the rabbit as well because every year for the last few years we've had rabbits living under the porch.
That's right.
And they usually make it until February and then something eats it. And it's usually
a coyote.
Yeah. And we see the rabbit hair around the porch. So yeah. I think you did the rabbit a good thing this morning.
So what rabbit hole did you go down?
So I went down the rabbit hole of all of these people constructing the sweaters. They're crocheting them. They're coming up with their own styles, which led me to Brendan, who is from Australia, and he's a fantastic designer. And he has constructed. Zan must have heard you talking about the rabbit.
Oh gosh,
he knows the R word.
He knows that word, and he's got to go investigate. He thinks he hears it down in the front porch.
Sit. Good boy.
He always tries to make it into one of our episodes. Every episode.
Okay, so Brandon. So back to Brandon, who is Knitwits, and that's his company, and he's you can definitely find him on Instagram. He has his own interpretation of the sweater, and it's really interesting the way he constructs it because he does it in panels. He actually has a video on Instagram that shows you how he did it, and I'm not sure if the pattern's out yet, but it will be out soon. But his view of it or his take on it, he's got very clean lines, and he has a completely different color palette, and it's nice. It actually turns out.
So it's kind of like we talked about this before, where you take something, you change it up, you switch it around a bit. You don't quite like this, that, or the other thing about it. So you do the sweater, but you do it completely differently.
Yeah.
You don't like the multicolors, the patchwork. You don't like the way it's. So you reconstruct the sweater based on that pattern, but you're still going to say it's the Harry style sweater.
Yeah, and his isn't about button up. His is just a faux jumper.
Okay.
But I'm still conflicted. I think what I'm going to do is.
Are you going to knit it?
Yeah, I think
something
so.
like it.
I think
which
so.
is going to be nothing like it.
No. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the traditional J.W. Andrews pattern, and I think it's free too. I think they have a free pattern.
Oh. Okay.
But anyways, you can just see it online and you can copy that, and so. I think that's what I'm going to do, but I'm kind of trying to figure out where would I wear this sweater? Would I ever wear this sweater?
This is where I was getting at.
But you would look good in the sweater. You would look good in it.
Because why?
What do you mean, because of what?
Okay, are we going to use the word, maybe a little more flamboyant?
No. Oh, no, I didn't mean that.
I think I'm fashion forward.
Yeah, you're definitely fashion forward. And you would look good in that sweater, I think.
Okay.
So we'll see.
It'll mean the world to me, like my coat of many colors. That my
just like
partner
Joseph
knit for me. I might do it. I feel a song and dance coming on when I get that sweater.
Oh, I think so. I think we're definitely in for a song and dance by that time.
No.
So that was my knitting itch.
Okay.
Oh, I left out the most important tie-in, is that the sweater was inspired by children's toys and coloring books. And that makes total sense when you see the sweater. So that was it. So speaking of another design that was inspired by toys.
Yes.
Tanis Gray. And her cowl. And here it is.
That's one incredible cowl, I must say.
So Tanis was looking through her old Lego toys to give to her youngest, and that was the inspiration for this
Lego.
And
well, I can see the colors and the way there's a construction to it. So if you think of building blocks, there's a construction to this cowl.
Yep, and it was fantastic to knit up, and I like it because I like the symmetry in it, and I like the fact that it was a quick knit. She designed it for people who want to do color work, but are at a beginner level. But she also wanted
This is beginner?
for color work. But she also...
This is beginner level.
Let me finish the sentence.
I'm never going to be a beginner. I can't even be a beginner.
She also wanted
to be a beginner.
She also wanted it to keep it interesting for more advanced knitters, and she definitely did that. I think she nailed it on this one. Now,
okay.
Do you want to get the last episode's cowl?
What? Okay, and what do we? Yeah, this.
Okay.
This one was, who is this by again?
Stephen West.
Oh yes, Stephen West. And the Brickworks.
Painting bricks.
Brickworks. It's beautiful. And what is the color?
Okay, so I finished this in the last episode, and I had leftover yarn. I thought, what am I going to do with my leftover yarn? And so I went through my Ravelry library and saw the pattern that I had.
Wow.
Printed out for a while ago, or purchased a while ago.
Okay.
Which is Tanis Gray's pattern, and so I thought I'm going to take the yarn that was left over from this cowl and create this cowl.
Yeah, because you only need bits and pieces of each and every color.
And it worked out beautifully.
That's amazing.
And
it's, the color combinations, and they're in different orders, so it doesn't look anything, well, obviously it doesn't look anything like this, but it's incredible because you wouldn't think these are the exact same colors.
Here, hold yours up. We'll see.
Oh, should I hold it this way or this way?
Doesn't matter. Okay, but the story has one more piece to it.
Okay.
My sister...
Your sister?
It was her birthday.
Yes.
And we couldn't visit her because of COVID. However, this is her gift.
Just a couple of days ago.
This is her birthday present. And she will love it because I used leftover yarn to knit this cowl. And my sister is the thriftiest person on the planet. And so...
In a good way.
So I think she will appreciate the fact that I used the spare yarn or the ends of the yarn to create this.
And she loves
as
color.
much as the
and
cowl
she
itself.
loves color. She's always very color coordinated
Yes.
in her outfits. She's and she likes a lot of different colors. So that will go with absolutely anything she wears because it's got every color under the rainbow in there.
Yeah. Now I'm calling it a finished object. However, I have to block it before I give it to her. So I've got a little time to do that. But so anyway, I reached out to Tanis and said, you know, I love your pattern, and I'm going to be talking about it on the YouTube channel. I really would love to know what inspired you to do it. And so that started a conversation. And she said, well, if you're going to talk about it, do you want to give a giveaway? And I said, absolutely.
Yeah.
So she has donated.
A very good giveaway.
Who doesn't like a good giveaway? So
I'm so excited. I'm fumbling in my words.
So Tanis is basically, she's giving 3 patterns. And so 3 patterns.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So we will have a giveaway for that.
Okay. So how are we doing this giveaway? We're going to do it like right now?
Yeah. Why don't we do the giveaway now? So we've got, this is how it's going to work.
How?
We have 3 questions. So we've got
Okay.
3 buckets. If you think of it as 3 buckets. So a Jamie bucket, a Christopher bucket, and a Tanis bucket. So it'll be 3 separate questions.
Right.
We are going to say the question, and you can respond to it in the comments. You can respond to each bucket and say, answer Jamie's question, answer my question, answer Tanis's question, or you can just do one. But you will be eligible in each bucket for whatever question you answered.
So, what's my question? You did. Okay. Name something that Jamie cooked or baked in past episodes.
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
So that's one of them.
So what's your question?
My question is, name something that I have dyed, like name the botanical that I used to dye yarn with, and you can find them in my instructional videos.
Okay, so something you dyed with.
Something I dyed with
And
on an episode.
Are you gonna ask Tanis?
Tanis. So Tanis.
What's Tanis's question?
Tanis. My question is, so Tanis's question is a little bit different. I'm going to say give you 3 items, and you have to tell me which one is not true.
Oh.
Okay?
3 things.
3 things. Tanis has published more than 550 patterns. Tanis has routinely been on a TV show on BPS about knitting.
Okay.
Tanis lives in Montreal, Quebec.
Okay. So one of those isn't true?
Yeah. One of them is not true, and you can go onto her About page on her website, and I'll put a link to that. So, and all the answers there.
Okay.
So you can answer. So if you want to be eligible for this design,
For the free patterns.
for the free patterns, answer the question in the comment section. Our YouTube comment
So
section.
3 winners, 1 in each category.
That's right.
One who answered each question.
Yes, and we will pick a name out in the next episode.
Okay, something to look forward to.
Something to look forward to.
Alrighty. So good luck.
Good luck. And I smell something right now. I smell something really good.
Something in the kitchen, but not in the kitchen.
Definitely something that's being baked.
Okay, yeah. I started a little earlier, and so we're going to go have a look.
Excellent.
So today, I want to welcome you to the Beehive oven. Now, let me explain it a bit. As you know, we live in this 1850s log cabin, colonial era. So traditionally, they would bake in this little square oven, and it's called a beehive oven because it's got brick shaped in the shape of a beehive. So I have to learn a little bit about it because I haven't tried it yet. So I'm going to bake some northern cornbread with a traditional, fur trader recipe. But I'm going to attempt to bake it as they did in the old day in this oven. So here we have just your regular fire burner. Now, this insert was put in sometime in the, 90s, but traditionally this open hearth would have been open. The flue for this oven is shared with the open fireplace. So what we need to do is, if you come on this way, I'm going to show you inside of the oven. So there, as you can see, I'm going to build a fire, and that brick is going to heat up to, I don't know, hundreds of degrees. We're going to burn the fire until it's down to coals. So we're going to burn that until it's down to coals. And once, maybe have the fire going for an hour or so, and it's going to heat up that brick to a temperature. It's supposed to be very hot. And it'll retain the heat. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rake those coals. And what I'm going to do is rake those coals. There's an opening down there. I'm going to rake them down into this part down below, in here. And I'm going to stick this in there. I'm going to put this in there, and it's going to catch the coals down below. Actually, I'm just going to leave it in there now. So that's what's going to happen. And then once I rake the coals and clean it out, I'm going to give it a brush with this, sweep the coals out of it, and then I'm going to put my pan of cornbread in there. This has a metal plate on this side to keep it hot and so it doesn't burn, obviously. And then I'm going to seal that, and I'm going to cook it for 25 minutes. So join me back in a few minutes, and I'm going to get with the ingredients ready for the baking for the cornbread. That should hopefully go right up that flue. Now the flue is just at the very front, right here, and that smoke should just go right up this flue right here, as that fire is producing a lot of suction. It's for the air to go up, and there it goes, beautiful. Okay, so now that we got the fire going, the fire started, we're gonna let that heat up. It's been running for about an hour or so, so hopefully it's going to be warm enough. Now I'm just going to mix the ingredients. So what we're going to do is, there's a cup of cornmeal, a cup of flour with 3 tablespoons of baking powder. So I'm going to mix those dry ingredients together. So just give those a little bit of a mix. Mix those dry ingredients together. Make sure that baking powder is well spread out throughout the mixture. So I'm going to dump that into here. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm doing this rather quickly because when that comes down to just coals, what I'd like it to happen is that it's going to stay hot enough. We're going to go and make sure that oven is still hot and warm. So now what I'm going to do is, read that again, dry ingredients. I'm going to mix the wet ingredients. So a cup of milk, 2 eggs, which I'm going to beat. 1, 2 eggs. There we go. Now, just going to give those a whirl. And the secret ingredient, half a cup of maple sugar. I mean maple syrup. Maple syrup. I was so excited. The oven hopefully should be at a really high temperature because that's been going for, like I said, a while. going to bring it over into the other room, and we're going to give it a go and give it a try. Okay, so now what do we do?
I think it's time for the big reveal.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's see. Here you have it.
Wow.
It smells amazing.
It smells so good.
I cannot believe how that worked out because, okay, if you think about it, well, let's try. Let's just give this a go. So, if you think about it, I wasn't sure how is this oven going to work. Do you mind an end?
Oh, I love the end. Is there any butter?
It's going to be so good you don't need butter.
Okay.
That's my thought.
Maple syrup?
Oh, it probably should have cooled off a bit, come to think of it, because yours came out perfectly. And mine is fine. Oh, it's still really hot. Oh well, that's okay. Let's give it a go.
Do you want to have half of my end?
No, that's okay. So if
I'll
you
offer
think
my
about
end to
it,
somebody else then.
okay, sure. Yeah. So if you think about it, I mean, well, how did we not think it was going to work? Because if you think about it, remember the old days, easy bake oven? I mean, they cooked the cake with a light bulb. So obviously this was going to work. So let's give it a go. I'm so excited, not only because cake is my favorite food.
It's really good. This would be great with a big pot of chili as well, wouldn't it?
I like it just on its own.
Oh, it's great on its own, I'm just saying. Because when you think about what you eat with cornbread.
Oh, that's right. And it's
a chili.
And it's a northern cornbread. And you know why it's northern? Because it's got that little secret ingredient, which is maple syrup, which we're just...
Oh,
we talk about
that's
maple
right.
syrup too often, I think. But you could taste it.
I don't think it's possible to talk about maple syrup too often.
I think we need to just sit here for the next 15 minutes and just... We haven't had lunch, so... Anyway, delicious.
Delicious. Great job. I'm looking forward to more baking in the old... What would you call it?
It's a Beehive oven because of the construction. So with the Beehive... Oh my God. Can I swallow my cake? Okay, so the Beehive oven in the Colonial era fireplace, as they did back in the day.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so what do we have coming up?
We have big news coming up. We have the launch of our online store, and that is February 5th. So really excited about that.
The long-awaited
website. We've been talking about it for a year, maybe a long time.
No, well, I wouldn't say that.
Well, it seems
long.
like a year.
Well, the thing is, that's because we've been cooped up in this cabin.
Yes.
But we've been putting a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
It's been time-consuming.
Yeah, I mean, one option was just to put our yarn up onto the website and sell that, but we wanted really to accomplish a couple of things. One of them to bring our yarn to market to you, but also to talk about the breeds of sheep that we use in as a base for some of our yarn dyeing.
Yes, and because some people may know that I like history a lot, and I talk about it once in a while for a minute or two, and
or 3 or 4.
So we've included,
or 5.
the breed of sheep and why it's great for certain yarns and certain knitting projects.
Yeah.
But then I added a little history on each because I find it absolutely fascinating. And same with the colors. So we talk about the colors that you use and how you use them. And a little history on the color, because the history on the color is fascinating.
It's fascinating, and some of them
really
just
is.
have incredible history and have played a very important part in commerce, and so it's really
yeah.
interesting. And then there's some that just hardly don't have a lot of information in terms of the historical perspective on dyeing.
Yeah, because we were trying to find information on some of the colors, but then, excuse me, for example, the cannabis. That's just newly legal now, so. Nobody was dyeing with cannabis in the day. It was always just smoked. No, it wasn't. It was used as hemp. There's a long history on cannabis because cannabis and hemp family, hemp, cannabis, minus the THC, that's all in the history. But the history of hemp goes back centuries.
Oh yeah, it's a fascinating history.
But that's something new that we're dyeing with, and gives us, gives you great color. White spruce, that's not something that was, commercially used widespread for dyeing, but it was used historically, we'll get into it. It's all there on the website. Very informative.
It is, and I hope you find it informative as well. And so that's, again, going to be up on the 5th. And we also, 5th? Yeah, of February.
Oh, yes, because
Knit City Virtual is the same day. And we are going to be live with a trunk show at Knit City Virtual February 5th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So did I say that right?
Time? I don't know. What's our time?
Say it again.
Our time is what?
Yeah, I'll say our time is 1 p.m. So our time is Toronto-ish, Montreal-ish time. And so that's Eastern time. And 10 a.m. Pacific time. So we would love to see you there. We're going to be there talking about the yarn. We're on for an hour. We're going to be on a Zoom platform.
Okay. That's a lot of time.
Do you think you can fill up an hour?
That's a lot of time to fill.
And so we're going to be talking about various yarns and some of the botanicals we use to dye the yarn, some of the base that we use as fiber. And
also to chat with everyone. They can ask questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interaction. If they have anything they want to ask or comment, I mean, that will help us a lot in passing that time.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll probably talk about the yarn.
That'd be fun.
About the yarn a bit too.
Yeah, I imagine we will.
Okay.
So we're really looking forward to it. If you can join, that would be absolutely fantastic. We'd love to see you. I also want to thank you for your comments after the last episode. They're super nice. It was so wonderful to read where you like to spend your time knitting or your ideal scenario of knitting. It was quite nice. There was I think a common theme through all of it. A lot of people enjoyed knitting in the winter, some in the summer, some gave scenarios of both. It was wonderful.
And I as I mentioned, it's same as what I'm thinking, is because this gives us a real glimpse into your lifestyle and where you are and where exactly you are. We talk about, we're here in the cabin and you like to knit over in that corner where it's light, and I like to knit, well, when I knit, places. But it gives us
You like to knit in the corner by the window.
I know, that is my corner actually.
Yeah.
But it gives us a real insight and tells us more about everybody that we're, talking to.
Yep, absolutely. I also wanted to remind you that we have the giveaway. So don't forget to enter the giveaway. And I will put the questions again in the show notes so that you have them. And this shouldn't be too difficult to answer. And so we're looking forward to that as well. So have a wonderful week, and can't wait to see some of you on February 5th if you show up to Knit City Virtual and the launch of our store. So have a wonderful week, and we wish you all the best. Bye-bye.
See you next time.